Welcome to Buy It, Fix It and Sell It. Show where we buy a bike, fix it up and sell it on. Hopefully make a profit in the process. I'm the host, I'm responsible for buying and selling the bikes.
And I'm the mechanic, which means I'm responsible for all the repairs, keeping it within budget and the test rides.
In this episode, we're looking for an older superbike. We've got a budget of about $2,500.
Which means we can't spend a fortune on repairs, so we have to buy something in good working order.
Well, I'll get on computer while you make a brew.
Okay?
We've got a few potential bikes here, but they're either over budget or high mileage and tampered with.
Cup of tea.
Thank you. Ideally, we want something as close to standard as possible. And there's one here that stands out. It's an older superbike. It's got low mileage and seems unmolested. Pretty much standard besides the steering damper. 2200. Seems in good order. See if we can arrange a viewing. All right, thank you. See you in a bit. Well, I've spoken to him and he's open to offers because he kind of wants it gone as soon as possible. So I've arranged to go and see it. I'll sup up and hit the road. We're on our way to get the bike. I know for a fact Tim loves these bikes and it's within budget. So hopefully next time you see us, we'll have it. So we got the bike. It's a cracking bike and we got it at 1900, which is really good. So it's going to give us a lot of room for improvements and stuff like that. It's got a few marks and blemishes on it, but nothing that we didn't expect. It's got 17,000 miles on it, full service history, original booklet. It's basically standard and it's got both keys, all really good selling points. But before we tell you what the bike is, we're going to give you a brief history of the bike itself and of its rivals. In 1992, Honda brought out what is arguably the first superbike, the Fireblade. It was lighter and faster than anything before it, and a real game changer. In 1999, Yamaha brought out the R1, another game changer. All this time Kawasaki was sort of falling behind. By 2003, Suzuki had the GSX-R 1000, Yamaha had the R1, and Honda had the Fireblade, all 1000cc fuel-injected superbikes. But Kawasaki had the ZX-9R, an older model still using carburetors and 100cc less. Then in 2004, Kawasaki responded, and it was a real game changer. This is the Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10R. 170 kilos, 180 brake horsepower, and does over 180 miles per hour, earning it the nickname, the Widowmaker. Well, what do you think?
Oh, so you've not bought a superbike then? You've bought the superbike.
Oh yeah.
Blimey, so I take it we're over budget already.
No. 1,900.
Really? For this? You're joking. So go on, what's wrong with it?
It's for you to find out. It's your job.
Alright, well, you get kettle on and I'll do a safety check.
No worries.
Spot on. So I've done a safety check. There's a few small issues to address, but nothing major. So keeping it within budget shouldn't be a problem. Cheers, Paul. But the first thing to address is probably the most important. The tyres. They're absolutely past it. Although the tread's okay on them and there's no cracks or anything like that, the date stamp says 2009. That's 12 years ago. And a bike like this, you want as much grip and confidence as possible. So they're gonna have to go. And while I'm doing them, I might as well clean the chain up and give the brakes a once over as well. So that takes care of some of the most important things on any motorcycle. The brakes, the tyres and the final drive. But we don't know when the service was last done or to even what standard it was done to. So the next thing to address is the fluids, the filters and the spark plugs. So while the oil drains, I might as well crack on with the air filter and spark plugs. So the engineers at Kawasaki had this genius idea that before they let you replace the spark plugs on your bike, they test your mental stability. The way they do that is they put engine mounts in the way of cylinder number 1 and 4, so you can't gain access to the plugs until you take 2 engine mounts off. Fantastic idea. Well done, Kawasaki. I've got it. I've only had to pull half the bike apart. So that's pretty much everything from a mechanical point of view done. Now we can move on to cosmetics. But there's just one more thing that's bugging me from a safety point of view, and it'll make the bike look better. The grips. Not only do the grips spin, which is dangerous, but there's wires all over the place. They've fitted heated grips and done a pretty poor job of it, and it's just rubbish. So I'm going to put some new grips on both sides. So now the grips are done, the next cosmetic thing to do are the rear indicators. The ones fitted are cheap, dim, and they leak. So the ones that we've got are nice, bright, LED, and they just fit with the style much better. So I'll get onto them now. So that's the indicators replaced. They're much better, much brighter, much neater. The others were just rusting away, there were water inside them, and the connectors on the end were awful. There was block connectors, spade connectors, and loads of tape loomed around it. So now there's just a 2-pin connector on the number plate light and bullet connectors on the indicators, and it's all nice and neat and tucked out of the way. Next thing to address is the rider and passenger footrests. Obviously the bike's been dropped at some point and they've all been welded up. So we've got some new ones to put on, so we'll do that now. So it's serviced, repaired, and I've done some small cosmetic changes. Now I'm going to MOT it, and then it's over to Paul the valeter to really make the blue pop. So it's serviced, repaired, taxed, insured and MOT'd. The only thing left to do now is test ride it. Whew. Well, it handles perfect, rides perfect, just handles like it's on rails. So I can definitely say that's job done. I'm ready to sell.
So that's the bike finished and ready to sell. But what did it cost?
Well, we bought the bike at 1,900. We then replaced the tyres at 220. We then gave it a service. The oil, plugs, brake fluid, oil filter and air filter were 109. We then replaced the grips at £13 and the rear indicators at £16. The passenger and rider foot pegs we replaced at £60, then given an MOT at £29. We then valeted it, which was £75, bringing the total cost to £2,422. If you include our labour, which is £240, it then brings it to £2,662.
Which is over budget.
Yeah.
Only slightly. The budget was $2,500. And this is a great bike, which means we will easily sell it for a good profit.
Well, because it's a bike I've always wanted, I've decided to keep it. Which is bad news for pockets, but great news for me. However, if we did decide to sell it, what would we get it for and what would our profit margin be?
Well, I've been looking online and they sell from about 3,500 to 4,800, which means realistically we can get 4,000 for it, which is a profit of over 1,300. That in mind, do you think it's a viable career option?
Definitely, yeah. I think as long as you choose the right bike, you get it for a great price and you have the skills to do it yourself, definitely. I've thoroughly enjoyed the process as well.
There you have it. If you're looking to buy and sell bikes, find a bargain, snap it up. As long as you do your own work and know what to look for, you'll make a decent profit. That's it for this episode. Stay tuned for episode 2.